Hi, we're here with Shaffali Skincare, and we're here with Shaffali, the owner of it. And she's been featured in New York Times and in the #1 spa in New York heyday.
Yes.
So let's hear it.
All right. So, Shaffali Skincare is based on the philosophy of Ayurveda, which is the holistic system of health from India. It's quite vast, but it's enough to know that it's inspired by this system of health. And we use certain concepts from Ayurveda in the line, such as taking into account your Ayurvedic skin type, which we're going to cover in today's session, as well as a real mindfulness to bring your skin and your spirit back to balance so that your skincare becomes your self-care routine. And it's not only that you're glowing because your skin is really healthy, but from coming from a real centered place inside, you're glowing like your aura or your energy that surrounds you is just glowing, so that it's like you really are healthy and beaming from the inside out. So yeah, I'll cover how we incorporate these things in the line as well. So to begin, Ayurvedic skin type. Tanya, are you familiar with your Ayurvedic skin type, or do you know even like, okay. So basically, in Ayurveda, much like when somebody is trying to understand their normal skin type, there's a variety. In Ayurveda, there's 3 types: Kapha, Pitta, Vata. So these kind of equate to dry, oily, normal skin. Not an exact match, but I'll explain a little bit deeper. So basically, if somebody were to have Pitta skin, and now you can, like anybody who's watching the video can also hear for qualities and characteristics that might sound like themselves, and they can start to kind of understand a little bit of like where their balance is and what they can do to help kind of balance out their balance. So their balance means like you might have, when you're oily, then you want to kind of like remove excess oil in your skincare routine. So the first type is Pitta. And Pitta is basically a combination of the earth elements of fire and water. It's also a force of transformation. And it's basically a passionate personality and a determined soul. So there may be many entrepreneurs out there that are listening that are like, oh yeah, this kind of, sounds like me. In general, Pittas have sharp intellect. They make good leaders. They usually their body shape is like a medium build, and they tend to have skin that's either sensitive or gets a combination. Like so in the T-zone area in your skin, you start to see a bit of oiliness, and basically common skin concerns for Pitta are breakouts, redness, inflammation, and rosacea. So that's Pitta. So if you think of fire, it makes a lot of sense too, right? Like it's things that flare up, like a breakout, and rosacea. There's so much more I could say about each type, but we're keeping it kind of specific to skin, and then just mentioning a few personality characteristics too, just so you can kind of like relate a little bit more to the type. Second type is Kapha. Kapha is like a very solid and loyal personality. And in general, they tend to have body builds that are larger as well. And this comes from the fact that this Kapha is made up of water and earth energy. So very grounded. And these people tend to have a calm and strong presence. Their skin tends to be smooth and oily, and they tend to have the problem areas that they can have in their skin are like larger pores, and common skin balances could be like cystic acne. So it's not so much like in Pitta, it's a flare up, right? So in Kapha, it's more like so deep that like cystic acne is something very deep that comes up in the skin. And so you kind of like have to address it in a deeper way. So that's, and they also have oiliness and blackheads. Like, again, these are imbalances for the different Ayurvedic types. The last Ayurvedic type I'm going to cover, or the last Ayurvedic type that is Vata. This is made up of the elements of space and air. And if you think of people who are like dreamers or ethereal and like not always the most grounded, but they've got tons of ideas. They're very fast and like they're quick in thought, quick in action. They're constantly in motion. They're highly creative. Their body build is usually on the slimmer side, and their skin tends to be dry and thin. And some common imbalances for them can be dehydration because of how thin it is, premature aging, fine lines, wrinkles. So there's basically like, if you think about the 3 skin types, in Vata, there's like a lack of moisture. And so you could kind of relate it to somebody who has dry or mature skin or sensitive skin. In Kapha, when there are issues, that first you have a foundation of kind of like an oilier skin. And when there are issues, they're kind of very deep. And with Pitta, it's like, in general, they have combination skin, but they can get like flare-ups easily, like the rosacea and acne. So it's really good to be aware of your Ayurvedic skin type, because it also, sometimes people think, well, why is it that I have combination skin or I always have dry skin? Well, sometimes it's like in Ayurveda, we believe that you have a certain makeup that you're born with. And so if your personality characteristics match the type, the Ayurvedic type that I'm talking about, it kind of makes sense that your skin is kind of going to be that way. And it's a matter of, once you have this awareness of what your type is, to kind of offset it with things that are going to help nourish you. So now the next part of the video is basically covering the steps you would use in your skincare routine to create spa quality skincare, and the purpose, the why of like, okay, well, why are you using this? It's like, yes, I own a skincare line, and I'm not just trying to push products just to like, make money. It's because the products have a real purpose. And, the more awareness there is around that, the more it makes a lot of sense to be like, oh yeah, I need to do this in my skincare routine in order to have this. So the first step in a skincare routine is cleansing the skin. And the purpose of cleansing the skin is to really purify it from external pollutants, from external toxins, and just in general, like depending on the season, if it's winter time, heating systems release all kinds of things for the skin. And if it's the summer, air conditioning can do the same. Living in New York City, which I did for 10 years, you can have so much environmental pollution from just like the population and just like the density. So just like, unless you're living on like a pristine private island or something, oftentimes you've got influences that you just want to purify your skin from. So first and foremost in a skincare routine is cleansing. And now as I go over these steps, I'll also mention that the steps that I'm going to go through, I recommend doing once a week, so you really get like the spa quality facial at home, but daily, depending on your skin type. So whether you know that you're dry or oily, or whether you've identified your Ayurvedic skin type, you're going to be able to mix and match certain steps to know what to do daily. And sometimes people can do as little as 2 steps a day. And then when they do their facial at home, for me, a complete facial is 5 steps, which includes a facial steam. And I'll get into when that comes in. So step 1, cleansing the skin. And because I do have a skincare line, I will just mention that we have a beautiful cleanser, which some of the key ingredients in it are lavender and turmeric. We don't use artificial fragrances, which is definitely something to watch out for in your skincare product. if you read the word fragrance in your ingredients, I highly suggest you get rid of that product, because it usually means a concoction of chemicals that have absolutely no benefit for your skin or the rest of your health. Some of these chemicals that make up artificial fragrances can really mess with your hormonal system, with your brain. I mean, it's really unfortunate that, I'm just going to go off on a tangent for a moment, but it's something that's important to be aware of. In the US, the FDA basically blocks 11 ingredients not to be in skincare. And in Europe, there are more than 1,300 ingredients that are blocked not to be in skincare. So Shaffali Skincare abides by those standards. There's something in the US that's been set up, an organization called the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics, that really tries to monitor and bring awareness to people so that they can be aware that, unfortunately, even in baby products, there are horrible chemicals. I mean, some of the pictures on the website for Campaign for Safe Cosmetics, it's like hard to stomach sometimes. But basically, that's a great resource if you ever wanted to look up ingredients, specific ingredients in your skincare to understand, are they okay or not? Even though a company is producing product that has certain ingredients, you just want to double check from a reliable source that they're safe. So step 2 in a at-home facial to really optimize your skin and self-care is steaming the skin. So this is really important because it's part of detoxifying the skin. And basically, you can either order a small facial steamer. There are ones that look like bowls. There are ones that look like mini versions of what you would see in a spa. Or you can simply boil a pot of water safely and cover it, create a tent with your towel, and like for 5 to 10 minutes to start. If you've never done it before, it'll probably be 5 minutes, but you build up to 10. You can actually like really sweat out your skin. And this is going to promote so much detoxification, which really helps to renew the skin. And it's a real preventative measure, so that the more you steam, like if you steam weekly, you're very likely not to have any like breakouts erupt, because you've nipped it so far in the bud that you're able to just like have this beautiful, clear foundation skin. Speaking of foundation, it's something I don't wear because my philosophy is like your skin is your foundation, and to like really work on your actual foundation. Another step in detoxification, which comes after the steam, is an exfoliation. So our skin naturally sheds its layer, anywhere from 14 to 28 days. But as we get older, this process becomes slower and slower. So we want to make sure to kind of keep it up so that our skin looks so fresh. Like the more that we can turn over the skin cells that are, sitting on the skin that are already dead, that can cause potential congestion, and they cause a dullness to the skin. You want to kind of exfoliate, and there's various kinds of exfoliant. And in my skincare line, we have in one product 2 types of exfoliation. One is a manual scrub with jojoba beads, which are perfectly spherical, which is a positive thing because there are exfoliants out there that can cause microscopic tears to the skin. You want to watch out for that. You want to use things that are gentle, perfectly spherical, but yet are still creating a manual scrub for the skin. And also in our product, and I'll just kind of like hold it up and show you while I'm talking about it, we also have the fruit enzymes of papaya and pineapple. And these fruits have natural enzymes that are eating away at dead surface skin cells, which is kind of awesome because say you have like open breakout or something. Well, it's not really appealing to start massaging little soft granules all over your face. So basically, if you needed to, you could just put this product on like a mask and let the fruit enzymes eat away at your dead surface skin cells. And again, the purpose of this product is detoxification, just like the steam. And it's helping to kind of regenerate so that the new baby skin that's underneath all that dead, dull surface, all of the dead and dull surface skin cells is able to shine. And each step is coming in a sequence so that you can really kind of start to get deeper into your skincare in a way that really makes each product that you're using more and more effective. For example, if you were to exfoliate before doing your purification of the cleanse, well, it's not going to go as deep as once you've removed those surface toxins. So there is like a reason for the sequence. And, you know, this is the type of sequence, more or less, that a spa would be using when they are treating your skin as well. So the next step after exfoliation is a mask. And this is important now because you have this like gorgeous baby skin that you have let emerge from, you know, underneath. And now what to do with this skin? Well, we want to protect it and we want to pump it full of nutrients and minerals. And also simultaneously in the mask that we have in my line, which is the volcanic ash and sage mask, I'll just show you here, it actually helps to pull deep-rooted toxins from the skin because of the nature of clay. So there's 3 different types of clay in our mask. And now that we've like removed so many layers of the skin through the cleanse, through the steam, through the exfoliation, once you put this product on, it's actually deeply removing toxins from the skin, while at the same time it's putting in rich nutrients and minerals. So you could say that the purpose of the mask is to renew the skin. And what's interesting is each purpose that our products have, I've actually created a ritual around that purpose, meaning in the cleanser, it's a purification ritual. So because of my yoga and meditation teaching background, there's actually available a little instruction of inhaling and exhaling and visualizing purification for that product. So if somebody wants to go beyond just like the care of their skin and really start kind of addressing taking care of their soul, that's available to them to really indulge in making it feel like they're creating a spa treatment at home. So back to the mask. So again, it is renewing the skin, pulling out toxins, putting in rich nutrients and minerals. So ideally, like as I'm going through this, it's starting to make sense of like, well, why each product, you know, instead of like, why can't I just wash my face every day or just put some oil on it and be okay with it? So the last step that I say in a facial care routine is moisturizing. So you've done all this great stuff that's basically a lot of it has taken away from the skin. Well, the mask has started to introduce putting something back into the skin. And again, in the mask, it's a renewal, like there's an exchange happening. So it's drawing out impurities, but at the same time, it's putting back rich nutrients and minerals. Well, in the moisturizer, this is like truly sealing the skin, protecting it, hydrating it, nourishing it. So in our line, we call the face moisturizer, which is our neem and neroli face moisturizer, we call this the replenishing ritual. So it gives back to you. And just to highlight the aromatherapy in this product in particular, first of all of our products have a different blend of essential oils that are inducing different moods and different effects on the skin, and they're only enhancing the ritual that is associated with each product. And in this face moisturizer, we're using a single essential oil, which is not the case for all our other products. For all our other products, there's a blend of 2. In this one, I'm using pure Italian neroli, and it's because it is one of the most luxurious essential oils. Like the amount of orange blossom flower petals that it takes to produce just a small amount of this oil is unbelievable. And the smell is just like completely intoxicating. It's like truly nature's perfume. And oftentimes most companies won't use real neroli in a product because of the cost of it, which is like unbelievable. But I really wanted to end the facial routine with the scent that's going to stay with you, right? Like we're completing the facial now. And it's one that really does make you feel kind of like a queen. It like elevates the mood, it enhances creativity, and it really does nourish the skin. Like, and that's part of that like replenishing. So I hope through that explanation, you kind of like can understand like the why of each product. And ideally, it sounds so appealing to weekly take the time to do each one of these steps in a mindful way, using the different mindful steps that come along with each step, taking the deep breaths of each of the essential oils so that you can really embrace your self-care, own your self-care, and like look like you've gone to a spa weekly with the use of each product. And then daily, depending on your skin type, if you have an excess, like say you are pitta, or again, like you've got oily skin, or you've got your kapha, and you generally have like a layer of kind of like oil on your skin, and you get the cystic breakouts, well, I would definitely recommend using a gentle exfoliant daily, which sounds a little surprising to some people because people think that exfoliants should be used infrequently. Well, if it's a gentle exfoliant and it's good, you can use it daily. I use our exfoliant daily. I am pitta and I have combination skin, so I'll use it daily, and it's perfect for helping to kind of like wash my face and also give it a little glow right to start the day. And then basically you can moisturize, but because like somebody who has like more moisture in their skin, our products aren't specific for skin types, but we do give instruction on how little or much to use and how often to use them, meaning you would just use maybe one pump of the face moisturizer once a day if you have an abundance of oil in your skin. If you tend to have a lack, like you have dry skin, you have mature skin, or you're vata, then you would maybe refrain from using the exfoliant daily because it does take away a certain amount of moisture, which is ideal if you have excess moisture. But you would want to use the gentle cleanser and then moisturize. But with the moisturizer, you would want to use maybe 3 pumps, and you may end up using it daily and nightly. So it's like when you're using quality ingredients that are beneficial for you, it's just a matter of knowing how much to use them so that you can really help to like balance your skin. And another thing I said I would cover today was like ingredients to watch out for. And the main comment I want to make about that is, you know, the industry has come a long way. I've had my line for 10 years. And when I started, it was like there were still a lot of large corporations like pumping out skincare that just wasn't very conscious. Using preservatives and fragrance, like I mentioned earlier in this video, that just aren't actually benefiting your skin or your health. And now, like there are shops like Credo, which is like the clean beauty version of Sephora. I mean, they don't have as many shops, but ideally one day they will. There's also more and more opening up, one called Folane, one called the Greenway shop, that people who are really being advocates for carrying very clean beauty. Even Heyday, one of our best spa partners that we're carried at, people are becoming more and more savvy to know that, you know, it's not just about organic skincare, which our products are. We use a lot of organic ingredients, but it's about having clean products that are not harming your health, not harming your skin. And again, I would direct you to the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics. And also there is a website called Environmental Working Group, which is a great website if you just type an ingredient and just want to understand a rating that's been given from Environmental Working Group on whether this is a high-risk ingredient or a low-risk ingredient for your skincare specifically. It's like just a really great resource. In general, people now know that, you know, we don't want to be using parabens and sulfates and phthalates and these things that, you know, unfortunately we've come to understand can, you know, even eventually cause cancer, especially because things we're putting on our skin are absorbed into our body. And something like skincare is being used daily. So it like accumulates, and to just be aware to use clean products that are not doing harm to your skin, but are actually benefiting it, which is the whole purpose why one wants to use skincare. It's like, you know, just to be a little bit more savvy to realize that unfortunately the FDA does allow products that are not so clean in the market. The industry is becoming more savvy, and to just like also take a stand for your own skin's health, to look up like what's in your products, like what does it actually mean, or like, you know, where are you, what you choose to invest in a skincare company, like is it worth what you're getting back for your skin? And I mean like in terms of like the health of your skin and the health of your spirit for feeling good for your self-care. Are there any questions? I've covered a lot.
That's great. I do have questions. What do you use for sunscreen?
Okay, so sunscreen, I actually answered, I am being featured on a blog this week that's talking all about sun care, skincare, and they were asking the same thing. I use a brand called Aesop. It's a larger brand, and they have a sage and zinc sunscreen. I would eventually like to have a sunscreen in my line, but until I do, that's the one I use. And it's partly because I believe mineral sunscreens are better than chemical sunscreens. And it's because if you think about the way a chemical sunscreen works is the UVA and UVB rays come to your skin, and then a chemical reaction happens for them to offset the effect of the sun, versus in a mineral sunscreen, it bounces off the skin. I would much rather have that. And the problem used to be that mineral sunscreens kind of look thicker and things.
They make you look white almost.
Right. Especially like with my skin tone. But now there's technology, and there's some controversy around the technology. It's called nanotechnology, which basically allows for ingredients to be smaller. And the controversy is saying, well, it's going into the skin. It's not being as effective as like sitting on top of the skin. But with as much as I have researched and am aware of, I am okay with that technology thus far, partly because of how it does feel on the skin. Because if I am going to use a mineral sunscreen, I want it to sit well on my skin. And so that's the sunscreen that I happen to use. I really like its scent and texture, and I have read all the ingredients on it as well.
And how do you spell it?
So the brand is Aesop. It's AESOP, and the product is zinc and sage sunscreen. And it's a lower SPF, but there's also a lot of awareness that should be kind of available for SPF, meaning that it's not like if you use an SPF 15 versus 45, it's not like it's 3 times stronger. It's actually it has to do with the percentage of UVA and UVB rays that's blocking out of the skin, and basically meaning like the 15 is allowing, I don't want to, I'm getting, you can look into it, but basically it's not exactly equivalent to, oh, you should be using like a really high SPF. So for me, I use a lower SPF and I just reapply, and it's actually better, because sometimes people who use higher SPFs mistakenly think they don't need to reapply, which is not true.
So Vicky has a question. She says, what about makeup brands? Any preference to avoid unnecessary chemicals?
Yes. So lately, because of a shop like Credo, I have really enjoyed finally shopping for makeup. So I don't wear much. Like I said, I don't do anything for skin makeup. Like I've even phased out blush, which was like, a little bit like challenging, but honestly, you keep yourself healthy, you'll have a natural glow. But when it comes to something like eyeliner, mascara, lipstick, these are things I do enjoy wearing. And I think that, they can enhance our own natural beauty from a foundation of having natural beauty. I have discovered brands such as Well People. This is like, I am really into eyeliner and mascara, so I really enjoy their eyeliner and mascara, but I also like their lip colors a lot. And so I would say when you're uncertain about the makeup brand, first you want to make sure that it's a clean makeup brand. And now there's all these amazing shops that are screening, like really screening brands, so I would definitely recommend either walking into a Credo. There's about 7 locations in the US right now, or going to like a credo.com and just seeing what brands do they carry so that you can know it's already pre-screened for you. Now, if you have a makeup brand that you're already using, I would direct you to the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics to look up the ingredients on it. It's a bit of a task to do that, but you'll be saving yourself so much in the long run to really understand what's in your makeup or your skincare products. So now it's a treat to shop for makeup. It used to be like I'd go to Sephora and it's like, well, I'd try to ask them for their natural brands and it wouldn't be enough. So now, again, I'm really appreciative how savvy the industry is becoming with clean beauty.
And what do you use for body lotion?
Well, we have a body lotion in Shaffali Skincare, and so I swear by that. I use it as soon as I step out of the shower, and if you moisturize your body within the first 3 minutes of stepping out of the shower, it actually really locks in the hydration. And we have 2 body products, a body scrub and a body moisturizer, and they go so well hand in hand because similar to the skin, if you create a foundation of letting go of the dead surface skin cells, then moisture is going to lock in even better afterwards. The hydration is. And yeah, I'm a big fan of that body moisturizer.
Any other questions, Vicki?
And did that answer your question, Vicki? Like, was that satisfactory? Okay, good. I'm glad. This has been great. Excellent. Any other questions, Tanya, that you can think of?
And let's say, how many times, so it's morning and night, you kind of clean your face, put lotion on. And when you put the sunscreen, do you avoid your moisturizer when that happens?
Like, okay, I'm going to be totally honest. You're supposed to, right? Because you don't need 2 sunscreens, but there's something that like, it's for me a security blanket of knowing like my product. So I put a little bit of mine on first and then I do the sunscreen. And honestly, it's also because sunscreens never give me that satisfactory hydration that I want from a face moisturizer. Now, I'd have to like consult with my like cosmetic chemist to tell you if that's actually reducing the effectiveness of the sunscreen, but that's also why I'm reapplying it. And when I reapply it, I'm not necessarily continuing to put on my own face moisturizer. It's sort of like my face moisturizer is my foundation to start with, just as like a little protective screen, and then I'm putting on the sunscreen.
And then if you're doing these facials weekly, steaming, do you ever professionally get them done or?
I do. Now, like I recommend to most people, like a once a month routine for a facial at a spa is amazing because it gives a boost. Now, it's not something I'm doing that often because I'm really into these at home facials, and it's part of the time I take to experiment with new product formulations, and I get like really into, it's a ritual for me. I get really into it. If you're really good about doing your at-home facials as well, you'll find that you might not need to go monthly, which is like the standard recommendation for getting a professional facial. And for me, I'm getting one at least once a quarter, just to have a boost, because the thing is, when you're getting your facial, the massage that an esthetician is going to provide, and I am a licensed esthetician, but still, like, the massage an esthetician is going to provide is just so luxurious, and it actually does benefit your skin to do massage. I believe I was actually going to mention some key like points on the face to massage. So I'm glad you asked this question. Now I've answered that question, and I'm just going to go over some quick points to know, like, when you're applying your facial products, any steps in the facial, you can really take the time to pause at certain areas that are going to induce relaxation, a calming effect in the skin, and also tone the skin. Like, there's so many muscles in the face that can actually be toned, which will help you to kind of keep youthful looking skin. Now, in my company, we don't ever say anti-aging. So when I say youthful, I kind of like, I mean to say embrace your aging in a graceful way. So now, when you're applying your products, when you're at the brow bone, you can start inside towards the middle. And when you go to the outside, you want to give it like an extra pressure. You can either do a pinching technique. These are all different techniques that estheticians know, but you can apply to use at home so that you can really up your skincare routine. So again, it can be pinching, and just, it feels really good. And then you can also do pressure, or you can do pulsing. And so that's one line, and there's a few other lines, and you can apply these different, different movements to the different lines. So there's also from your the bone at the top of your nose to above your cheekbone, and you go to your what do you call this here, the temples. So when you go to the temples, and you can give them a little massage, like naturally sometimes in the middle of the day, like while I'm sitting at my desk, or just like need a little break, it's kind of normal for me to kind of like play around with my face, and it all comes from like these constant massages. When you are applying product, you want to go in circular motions upward and out. Why? Because you are defying gravity. Gravity is bringing everything down, right? So you want to go upward and then out. So it's basically really toning the skin. And then also, if you tend to keep a lot of tension in your jaw, or you notice that like when you're stressed or when you're sleeping, you clench your jaw, you can release it by bringing your thumbs behind your jawbone here in the corner. And like, yeah, just give it like a real press, and suddenly you feel a release. You can even like bring your teeth apart slightly, and then you can actually pinch all the way to the center. So it's like another line that can help you release tension. So there's, again, you can calm yourself, you can relax yourself, and you can also tone your skin just by the way you're applying products. And these are instructions that we give in using our products as well. It's like apply product, massaging upward and outward, just so you give, since you're taking the time anyway, to just like optimize your skincare.
And one last question. When
Sure.
you're about to fly, like, what should you do? Is there anything different?
Yes, definitely. So the air on airplanes is recycled air, and it's dry. So I oftentimes will put an extra layer of hydration on my body and on my face. And this is the twofold. One is because your skin will be totally balanced by the time you land, because you've put on extra moisturizer. But another is because it's kind of protecting you from, like, our skin breathes, right? So like, if you're around a variety of different people on a plane, some who may be sick, or, just the different germs that you're exposed to on a plane, you're kind of giving yourself a little extra protection from absorbing any of that. So yeah, moisturize. That's definitely and moisturize extra. Like if you normally would use 1 pump of a moisturizer to balance out your skin, put 2. If you would normally do 3, put like 5. Like go a little extra. It will feel like you've put extra moisturizer on, but by the end of your flight, it will feel totally balanced. And drink lots of water.
Great. This is super helpful. I took so many notes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad it was helpful.